All right. The overregulation video that I've done. I had a good look through all the comments and all that type of stuff, seeing what the issues and the worries are of all the people. And, you know, some people said toilet blocks and more showers and stuff like that. Some said about regulations to do with your loads and that kind of stuff. But the majority, or a lot of, the things that I actually seen that people were worried about were the fines. And I would have to agree completely. Looks like hell just opened up outside. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you a story that my missus doesn't know about yet. So Danny doesn't know about this, but she's going to find out when she watches this, which she will. But about 3 months ago, I went past Mount White. It was early Friday morning. It was pouring down rain and a bit of fog. I missed the weighbridge. Now, as soon as I went past, I thought, shit, you know, I missed the weighbridge. But I'm like, oh, what do you do? Because I've never done it before. I've never missed a weighbridge, so I don't know what the process is. Do I turn around and go back? If so, how do I turn around? Where do I go? Maybe couldn't figure that out, so I pull up at the Hawkesbury, try and look for their number. Or some number to call. Couldn't find the number. Don't know what to do. So 3 months has passed. And literally, I think it's pretty much the day after the previous video, it came through. $758. $758 fine for missing a weighbridge. Now, I think, you know, a lot of people know I drive car carriers. I had one car on the back, so clearly I wasn't overloaded. From what I've heard, they request paperwork from the company or something. I think that's their process or something, seeing if I was just trying to dodge the weighbridge for a reason, which I wasn't. I had that was in the morning, so I still had another 13 hours to, you know, to basically drive. So yeah, but $758. I've had times where I have breached in my logbook 15 minutes. And NHVR has always been all right to me. They've been good. And that they'll bring it up to me and they'll be like, you know, clearly you've just, human error, clearly. So just try and fix it up. Remember for next time. And they've been good. But if there's a highway patrol copper or something like that there, or bleats of some kind, no leniency. They're more along the lines of, yes, gotcha, you know, revenue, yes, fine. You know, it's no leniency, too bad you done it, you know. And I feel like that's what the biggest issue is in the industry, fines. Now, we are classed as professional drivers. Now, we spend, you know, all day, every day on the road. But that's okay because the government gives us 1 extra point because we're a professional driver. Now, what I want to ask is, what the hell's 1 point going to do? 1 point's going to do what? Nothing. So our risk of doing something wrong out on the road by accident, as I said, human error, goes up substantially because of the amount of hours we are on the road. Now, we are all human. If you are caught doing something wrong, you're deliberately fudging your logbook, or you're doing something wrong, throw the book at you. You know, whatever. But when it comes down to basic human error, because we're human, these fines are excessive. They're massive, you know. And it's part of a video that I done, a reel that I done yesterday, which was basically stating that you make one wrong move, do one wrong thing, you lose a lot of money, you can lose your job, you lose your family, you can lose everything. Because if you lose your job and you can't support your family, it causes issues within the household, It causes stress. You fight with your family because you can't pay the bills, and it goes on and on and on. Before you know it, everything is destroyed. Now, I rarely ever do anything wrong on the road. If I do, it's human error. It's just me being human, accident. That's all it basically is. Now, these fines are very excessive. They need to have some type of leniency program or something. Now, 2022 estimates were that there's 200,000 truck drivers in Australia. 200,000. So it's true, the saying goes, without trucks, Australia stops. We transport everything. I pay around $1,400 tax a week, right? So I think it's like 35% of my tax, of my pay goes to tax. Pay regos, cost of living's gone up. Fuel prices are pretty much doubled. Everything's gone up. And I'll say it straight. I can't afford this $758 fine. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to appeal my fine. I'm going to put it down there. I'm going to say to them basically that it was just human error. Look at the cameras. I wasn't overloaded. I wasn't heavy. Like, I wasn't trying to ditch the weighbridge or, dodge the weighbridge. It was just human error. Never done it before. So a decent human, decent people would be like, look, he's a working man. He pays a lot of tax. He pays his way in his country. He's out there away from his family, all week. Sometimes even into Saturdays. You get one day with him, and so let's cut him some slack, give him a chance. A decent person would say that and would do that. And I don't like my chances, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to see the outcome. But that's the thing. We make mistakes. Like I said, a lot of the times it's mainly human error. We're only human. So hopefully this video goes to Albo or Chris Minns in New South Wales, because that's where I'm from. But, sort your shit out and look after us. We're the ones carrying this country. We're the ones, trying to do the right thing, working away, keeping everything moving. Even through COVID. Through COVID, we were the ones out on the road still working. We were the ones doing all these permits to cross borders, constantly doing the COVID tests, getting vaccinations, forced to get vaccinations so we can keep working. Even though, I won't go into that because probably get censored. But, we were the ones carrying the country. They need to look after us and give us a bit of leniency. So if you agree with me, like, share, comment your thoughts, because it's just not right. I've read stories on here about, what was it? There was a guy the other day who said something about, he pulled his arm out of his seatbelt just to grab something quickly, and bang, copper got him. One guy got mixed up with the days, wrote the wrong date in his logbook page. And, well, if you go back the next day, it's the same date. So clearly he got mixed up. Human error. No, too bad, fine. You got a fine. That's why a lot of people think that it's all about revenue raising. Because it's not about punishing those who do the wrong thing and giving leniency to those who just, make a little mistake and didn't mean to. It's just about, yes, got him, fine, more money for the government. And I can understand now why a lot of people are leaving the industry. It's just not worth it. Fair enough, we get one extra point on our license, but it's just not worth it. Look, I've still got at least 30 years of work time. I've got nothing else to fall back onto if I lose my license or anything like that. I'll say it. I left school in year 9. School just wasn't for me. I do regret it now. But back then, that mentality, school was not for me. And so mum and dad said, you know what, just sick of it. Just get out, get a job, start doing a trade, do something, you know. And I struggled for years trying to figure out what to do. Finally figured out what I wanted to do, drive trucks. So finally got into that and worked my way up from rigid to this, to that, to this, to that, and then now this company. And this is where I wanted to stay for life. But because they look after us. So yeah, but if something happens to my license because of a human error and I lose my license, yeah. Look, I remember I got a speeding fine down in Melbourne on the ring road a couple of years ago. It was 100 zone. Then for some reason it dropped to 80 right underneath this overpass where there's a speed camera. And then after that overpass, got back to 100. I still can't figure out why it went down to 80. Maybe it was a trap just to get the revenue up for Victoria. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to pay for the Commonwealth Games. They needed more money. I don't know. But that just didn't make sense. So that kind of trapped me. So, you know, and with the ring road, you know the ring road. You can't be looking, you know, all the time straight there. There's cars flying in all around you. There's like 4 or 5 lanes, sometimes 6 lanes. I think sometimes even 7 each side of you. You know, like there's 7 lanes across, cars and trucks going everywhere. So you're looking, you're scanning, you're looking all around you, trying to, watch the road, observe, making sure everything's fine. So sometimes we do make errors, but the fines are getting out of control. They're getting harsh. And like I said, I don't blame drivers. You know, I know drivers that have lost licenses and, you know, pretty much lost everything. You know, I've spoken to drivers like that because of just, you know, the fines are just excessive. You know, there was one guy I spoke to a while ago. He got a fine, but he couldn't afford to pay it. I'm pretty sure he was from Victoria too. And the best he could do was organise a payment plan. From what he told me, they wouldn't accept a payment plan. He had to pay the fine. And he couldn't afford it. So therefore they cancelled his licence and then he lost his job. And now he definitely can't earn the money to pay it because he's got no job. But anyway, yeah, these fines, they're excessive. They're destroying people. There's too much. And too many drivers have to keep looking over their shoulders all the time, you know, because they're scared. Like, I'll be honest with you. When I see a weighbridge coming up, I freak a bit. I'm not doing anything wrong, but was there something I done wrong on my logbook? Did I sign it properly? Did I write the date down properly? Did I tick the New South Wales box? You know, and because just, like I said, human error. We forget things, you know. So anyway, like I said, like, share, comment, tell me what you think.